yourself or suffer the consequences. The wisdom of Elijah's inside of the conscientious, so I move with it.
I want to talk to you today about something that's going to help you very much. But we are unique. We're a happy church. Sometimes we shout. Sometimes we dance. But above all, we are a teaching church. And I want to talk to you today about something that's going to help you very much. I want to talk to you about the power of success. So say with me, the power of success. And all of you who are not interested in success and you're not interested in being successful, I suggest you leave right now. Because I'm going to rub success power off on every one of you who stick around here today. And some of you who may not even consciously believe, I'm going to rub this success power off on you subconsciously, like I did that young man who didn't believe. But you see, I got to him subconsciously. You see, the stuff I use will work for you, even if you don't believe in me as a person. And I'd like to make this clear also. I'm not really trying to get anybody to believe in me as a person. I'm not insulted with those who say, I don't believe in you. Because frankly, I'm not trying to get you to believe in me as a person. I'm trying to get you to believe in yourself. That's one of the differences in this ministry. You see, I'm not interested in making converts to any form of organized religion. I'm only interested in converting you to yourself. I'm not interested in trying to herd masses of people into the folds of organized religion. Oh, it gets quiet. Evangelists have been doing that for thousands of years, hundreds of years, herding masses of people into the folds of organized religion. But here is one evangelist that does not come to try to convert you to any form of organized religion. I only wish to convert you to yourself. So if you want success, stay here. Even if you don't want it, just stay here and behave, and I'll let you sit there, and I'll rub some off on you free. I want to read some text from the scriptures. And for the reading of these texts, I'm going to ask all of you to stand, please. While you're standing, you're going to find that even my sermons are different, because we have you participate in these sermons. We have you to help me preach these sermons even. I don't let you sit down too long, you see, because your circulation will slow down and you'll get sleepy. That's why I have you participate in the sermon. And at times we have you help us to preach it. It's a bit unorthodox, but it works. Because I'm not trying to impress you at all with my homiletical expertise or my hermeneutical accuracy. Whatever those are. Some big words that I picked up on at the theological seminary. The first text that we are going to read is from Timothy, the first chapter and the 7th verse. 2 Timothy, first chapter and the 7th verse. And I'm going to just use the subject, you have the power of success, and I'm going to convert this to the first person. I have the power of success. Say that to yourself with hands and voices. Come on. I have the power of success. See, you're preaching to yourself already. I told you I'd get you to help me preach these sermons. I want you to stretch the I out. I want you to emphasize the I. Come on. I have the power of success. Now from 2 Timothy, the 1st chapter and the 7th verse, repeat it after me as I shall read it. For God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, and of love, and of a sound mind. I want to read it again, and you're going to find me purposely repetitious, purposely redundant, because it is by repetition that you introduce a new idea effectively into your subconscious mind. You see, most of us, we've had negatives repeated to us all of our days. The voices of the world mind are forever shouting at us, telling us what we can't be, what we can't do, and what we can't have. And so I have to continue to shout at you with a positive voice and teach you to shout at yourself with a positive voice, telling yourself what you can be, what you can do, and what you can have if you believe in yourself correctly. And by the way, the preacher...
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. The brother Reverend Ike. What's going on, family? Huh?
What's up? I said, is he still alive?
No, he's not.
Okay.
He's not. Powerful brother, though. Powerful brother. I like to use his stuff, man, to get the energy right up in here.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Welcome, family. Welcome to another episode of Sincere Love, the Godcast. I am the God Sincere Love, here with my lovely co-host, Nicely Girl in the building. What's going on? How you doing?
What's good? I'm good. I feel good. I'm excited about this evening's guest. Yeah, let's do this.
That's what's up. Yep, we are here, family, with another episode of the Black Business Showcase. And of course, we have another dynamic guest in the building who I will introduce to you all momentarily. Let me let y'all know who we got coming to the stage tonight. So, her name is Coco Bates. Coco Bates is a blogger and social media influencer. She is a rising it girl promoting effortless style and beauty while encouraging women to live an unapologetic and purposeful life. She's developed a knack for being able to authentically connect with her audience while showcasing and promoting the brands and services she loves. She also coaches influencers in the fashion, travel, and beauty niches to help them gain various sponsored opportunities and to gain a loyal following. In addition to being a blogger and a social media coach, Coco is an event producer that has curated a host of successful beauty and wellness events. Her most popular event being an annual Blossom and Soul Natural Hair Fest, which gained over 1K plus attendees in its second year. So, without further ado, I would love to introduce to you the lovely, beautiful Miss Coco Bates. Welcome to the Godcast, beloved. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here with us. Appreciate you.
Yes, ma'am. So this is
Appreciate
going to be
you.
exciting for me. We got beauty, we got wellness, we got travel, we have coaching, right? A lot of the things that, let's dive in. I'm excited.
For sure. So, you know how I do. I like to start from the beginning. I like to start from the root. So I need you to take us all the way back to when this all began for you, just the whole entrepreneurial journey in general, and then specifically what it is that you do, within your niches. How did it all start for you? You know what I mean? Did you go to school? Were you working a regular job and got tired of that? What gave birth to all of this?
So, I used to live in New York, and when I was there, I wanted to document the street fashion. And I was taking pictures. I had a DSLR, and I was just taking pictures of people, going up to random people, like, hey, can I take your picture? And then I needed a platform to put that on. So I created a blog. It was under a different name then. And then from there, that kind of got popular, and I started writing. I actually went to school for fashion. fashion
Okay.
marketing, but I dropped out of school. It just was not for me at all. I'm more of a experienced learner instead of I have to sit down and listen to someone talk.
Mm-hmm.
So it just wasn't for me. And when I started just taking pictures of street fashion, that kind of led to me writing about fashion. Then I would get invited to different fashion events, beauty events, and then I would take pictures and write about it. And then I want to say in 2015, I ended up moving back home to where I'm from Houston. And I kind of stopped the blog just because I didn't feel fulfilled. I wanted something that was kind of culturally representative to who I was and like what I was experiencing. Just because then I was just featuring everybody. I really didn't have, I guess, a main purpose. And then I think around 2015 was the time of the Mike Brown incident, I want to say.
Okay.
2015. Um, and I really didn't see a purpose in doing what I was doing. Just because when I would look at the media, I would see how we were portrayed. And I was like, I didn't like that, especially when it came to how Black women, what Black people, period, how they were portrayed. And it wasn't something that I liked. So from then on, I just kind of switched my focus to focus on strictly Black people with everything that I was doing. And the Natural Hair Festival, it came about. I ended up getting invited as press to South by Southwest. And I should have known then, but I mean, I didn't. I was excited that I, got picked for press. And they had a few, I guess, Black topics that they were speaking about. But on these panels, they were just very safe Black people that were speaking, or they were non-Black people that were on these. And like that, like really got under my skin. I didn't like that. And then so for the next year, I was like, you know what? I just want to have like a little get together. Nothing big, nothing major. And then I publicized it and like all these people were interested. So I was just like, no, like now I have to actually find a legit place to have this event. And yeah, so that's how it all started.
Wow, cool. So my next question would be to that is where did that level of consciousness come from? Because, a lot of people see, what's happening. They look at the media and they see the same things that you saw, and they kind of just either ignore it or just want to tuck their head in the sand and pretend they don't see what they're seeing, and, kind of want to just figure out how they could just go along without, being targeted specifically, and they don't feel that attachment to their people. So there had to be something in you already for you to see that and be motivated to want to do something, empowering for your people. So where did that come from?
Honestly, I I talk to my friends about this. I honestly do not know. I feel like I am like one of my ancestors, like reincarnated. I don't know which one. I want to find out. So where I grew up in a rural area outside of Houston. It's called Waller. Very country town, like hick, redneck town, Confederate flag. They don't really fly them anymore. But I just remember like growing up in like all of these like little instances, like like you have some teachers that are like stone cold racist, but still they're your teachers. And then you have students that are the same way. And I remember, I forget how old I was, but one of the field trips that we took, we went to a plantation. I hated that. And
Wow.
like some of the children, the white children, they like bought whips. And then they were, yes. And on our way back to the school, they had the Confederate flags like outside of the school bus. So like I remember all of these little things. And even though like the majority of the Black people, and I guess it just comes from survival, they really didn't want to say anything. In my heart, like I knew it wasn't right, but like I feel like I didn't have backup then. And then as I got older, I just started reading books and just wanting to know more about myself, wanting to know more about like where I come from. I just knew it was something more, and I think that's where that comes from. So that's the only area that I can pinpoint that to.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
stuck with you from a child, it seems, the
Yeah,
experiences at school and stuff, and then obviously growing up into an adult and these things still happen. And so it's like, wait a minute, I need to change the narrative, right? And show,
exactly.
my people in a positive image because I also see the positive images too. Why isn't everyone else seeing it?
Exactly. And I mean, I still think about it. And again, I just think that it comes from, I guess, a survival mindset and from a mindset that the majority of us, they feel like there is nothing else. But as a parent, I just couldn't imagine like sending my children to school with teachers that are racist. And then you learn about the school to prison pipeline, and it's like,
Right.
no, this is ridiculous. So,
Yeah.
It's
like,
real.
there are other options. You just have, and I don't even want to say be brave because I don't feel like, I don't know. I just don't feel like it takes a sense of bravery. You just do it. As
Right.
far as like supporting your own and, just being unapologetic
Got you.
about who
Right.
you
Yes, for sure. For sure. So yeah, I could definitely sense one of the ancestors definitely alive and well within within
Hmm.
you for sure. You know what I'm saying? And to me, it's refreshing. You know what I'm saying? Just because I don't know. I guess your style and your energy, the way you present yourself on social media. A lot of our sisters that I see, that's kind of in that same realm. For some reason, they're just not as conscious. You know what I'm
are.
saying? And so when you and I first started following each other, and I seen you would like certain stuff that I put out there, because I go hard, I keep it 100. You know what I'm
Love it.
saying? And so, I'm like, oh, interesting. She's feeling my content or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that's refreshing. You know what I'm saying? For real.
Yeah, no, I follow several, content creators as well. And unless it's something that's maybe popular like George Floyd, right?
Mhm.
They may have, posted about that, but it was other things that I noticed, right, that they weren't commenting on or had an opinion on. So I was like, are they scared of, other groups maybe judging them for feeling a certain kind of way? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I would honestly feel some kind of way like, why isn't this black content creator like saying something like you can say something, I don't know. It just would make me feel some kind of way. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and I feel like that, like with influencers, that I want to say they're scared of losing, I guess, sponsorships or their paychecks or whatever. But I feel like no amount of money could make me not speak up for my people, and I don't feel like as a black content creator, I should only publicize my views when a tragedy like that happens.
Mhm.
Right.
Or, and I know like this was a big thing when that happened. A lot of content creators, they started calling out these brands. They're like, okay, well, why
Mhm.
don't we support black people? Or, what's your take on this? And I'm just like, it is not that serious. There's
Mhm.
so many other brands and so many other black owned brands that we could put our energy to instead of worrying about being accepted by somebody else.
Mhm.
Right.
So I noticed that too, and I was just like, you know what? No, there's a small group of us who think how I
Mhm.
do.
Well, yeah,
Not
y'all. Yeah,
mainstream,
y'all.
but it's a small
Yes,
group.
y'all. I
Yeah, I
honestly
definitely.
think that they would even, how we were going through this thing. Again, I'm a makeup girl, right? So
Mhm.
it was a lot of the black content creators were trying to kind of, I guess, tell brands that they need to be more inclusive as far as colors, for makeup and stuff like that. And I'm sitting here like, you guys have made a lot of money. Why don't you create it? Stop begging them to do something that you can do because now a lot of these girls that I follow have millions of followers at this point. You've been promoting other brands at this point. Why don't you create that? Because we're going to follow you because you did it, because it's
Right.
you, because you made this announcement. I kind of had a problem with that a little bit as well because I'm just like, you can do it. You guys can link up with other influencers, black, and y'all, put y'all money or whatever it is in the pot and y'all can build that together.
Exactly. Exactly. I just think I agree with you 100%. But I feel like for them, I guess it's more trendy to beg other
Mhm.
people to accept
Mhm.
them.
Right.
And you have to put more legwork, and you actually have to take accountability when you start to do the things yourself.
Right.
Right.
So maybe it's that. I don't get it. For the life of me, I don't get it. I don't
Mhm.
understand.
Now you just said it though. You just said it. That's the thing about freedom. It costs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? That there's work that comes along with it. You can't just be in turn up mode. You just can't be in silly mode. And when it's time to build, it's time to build. You're gonna have to actually get the work. It's easier to just get a check from somebody and push whatever it is that they got going on. Then you don't have to worry about the infrastructure behind it. You know what I'm saying? So that's exactly what it is, I think, for a lot of people. But you touched on people, that are in some of these niches trying to level up, they might be afraid of losing sponsorships and things like that. And that's something that you help influencers with as well, from what I've seen in your bio. So
Yeah.
um uh I guess, take us through that process. What does that look like? You know what I'm saying? Getting sponsorships for yourself and helping other people find sponsorships within their niche.
Yeah, so like with that, I have like a bundle pack. So it's like a 98-page ebook, and then you get like monthly coaching, group coaching. But for the sponsorships, I take them like through different pitches. Like if you want to pitch, and I don't really pitch that much anymore for several reasons. But like if you want to pitch, then I have like different email templates for you to use, and then you go through this whole process. And then once you do pitch, if it's successful, then I have contracts for influencers so that they can use it. They won't get messed over in this industry because you will, and
Mhm.
brands will take advantage of that. So I take them through that whole process of what the negotiation process is going to be, like what you should say. Do you want to negotiate your rates? How to set your rates? So it's all of that. And I don't negotiate my rates anymore. It's something that I used to, but I don't do it anymore.
That's good. That's good. Understand.
Non-negotiable. It's non-negotiable. My rate is my. I'm
Non-negotiable.
just playing. Just kidding.
Non-negotiable because you know what? As a Black creator, a lot of times brands they will try to get the most out of you for the least amount of pay.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I don't want it. Like if you want to work with me, pay my rates.
Right. Period.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that why a lot of the influencers now get managers? Because I hear that a lot of makeup artists, influencers now have management teams.
Well, with the managers they charge the brands a lot more. And
Hmm.
so I guess from a manager's standpoint, uh, they can get away, I guess, with charging brands a lot more. And it just takes the pressure off the influencer as far as like checking her email all the time for brands and then negotiating because it is timely. So it just frees up time for the influencer. But a lot of times the manager, well, most times the manager, they take a percentage off from whatever the brand is paying the influencer.
Yeah.
Now, are there a lot of black companies out there that are giving out these type of sponsorships?
Not the type that will really pay.
Okay.
At least I haven't seen it.
Now I can understand that because most of the black companies are on their way up. You know what I'm
Hmm.
Yeah,
saying? It's still in the building process and don't have a
Hmm.
lot of resources and history and
agreed.
even the brand name recognition and all of that stuff that comes with being able to just say, okay, you're doing your thing over here, you got the influence over here. You know what I'm saying? Do
Yeah,
what you do. Here goes a check. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
Right.
So I could definitely understand that. That's why I asked the question because
yeah.
that would be
Maybe Shea
something.
Moisture, but I know they're not black owned anymore.
Not
Uh,
anymore.
maybe Shea
Mhm.
Moisture, but other than that, I haven't.
Cantu is not black owned either.
Which
The
one?
Cantu, that's
Yeah,
not
Yeah,
black
yeah.
owned
a lot of
either.
those natural hair brands. Maybe Mio Organics.
Yeah,
Maybe.
she's black owned for sure.
Okay,
Yeah, she hasn't sold either.
okay,
Hmm.
okay. But yeah, from the majority, I don't see it a lot.
And as far as makeup, you have Juvia's Place still building, but they're doing well. Colored Rain building, doing
Hmm.
well, but they've been around, for a few years, a
Hmm.
good amount of time, but they are literally still building. I don't even feel like a lot of the black influencers give them a lot of shine on their platforms. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
they
I
don't.
see it a lot. I recall, especially for Juvia's Place, there was I'm not gonna say her name, but one of the bigger influencers refused to use Juvia's Place anymore because they posted what's his name, Patrick Starr,
Mm,
on their Instagram or something like that. Like that offended you. Yet you're repping Gucci, all these other brands who have done a whole lot of racist, disrespectful stuff too. So it's like I'm gonna hold the black brand to the fire. I'm not messing with you anymore, right?
mm,
I'm looking at them from both sides. Jesse Stars, who's huge, right, posted something that he wore on the Juvia's Place without even a sponsorship. He just posted it. So they're reposting because they're trying to get followers, not to condone anything that he's ever said or done, but to see black influencers literally hold these black brands to the fire and refuse to work with them or post anything because of that. Like I was like, wait a minute, sis, I've seen several things with these white owned companies, right, that have done things and you forgave them and you're
right.
still posting. So, you
I
can't put,
I don't understand that. I
yeah,
don't. Um, Especially when they wear the designers like Gucci and Chanel, and
mhm,
they're like really
yeah,
like big up them, and I'm just like, why can't we do that to our own brands, like
right,
so that they can be, I guess, the
right,
level, like the household name level as
right.
these other brands? I don't
And
understand.
even when a black brand makes a mistake, maybe it was in poor taste. It was in poor taste to, up a Patrick Star. I'm going to say his name because he's done a lot of racist things, right? But I'm to the point where you're publicly talking about this black brand because of that. When there's other brands that are not black that you may say little things to, but you still support publicly.
Hmm.
Yeah,
It's that double standard,
Yeah,
that black tax. You know what I'm saying? Where you know people just have that certain mindset. The white ice is colder, or you know what I'm saying?
mhm,
Black people have to be held to this impossible standard where everybody else gets a pass. You know what I mean? So it goes back to mindset, in my opinion.
yeah,
That's just what that is. You know what I'm saying? And so I think it's just important for us to, create spaces like this in order to reach like-minded individuals, you know what I'm saying? And to showcase different business owners and entrepreneurs that are out there that are doing some of the right things, who are not doing janky business, you know what I'm saying, who are trying to do things that are impactful for our people. So, that's why we created this space. And, we're glad to have people like
absolutely.
you to come tell your story.
Right.
I enjoy it. It's
Right.
nice. I love this platform.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Thank you. No, yeah, this is a good dialogue. Like I was always wondering about, the back stuff. Cause like I said, this is like what you do is this is what I gravitate to on social media when I'm looking at stuff for fun and stuff,
Yeah,
makeup ideas, hair, fashion, whatever the case may be, right? But little
yeah,
things like that will like make me unfollow. Like, wait a minute, I don't know if like because you feel like you vibe with the people based off of their posts, right? I don't know you, right? But you start to feel like you know that person. Like, oh, I like her personality. She seems like she has a great character. Like, oh, she wears her hair natural, so she's into her blackness. Like she's unapologetic because she's not saying I have to straighten my hair, which is no problem if that's what you want to do. But a lot of people pull from that. Like we're not proud, to showcase our kinks, you
yeah.
know, and all these things like it. So I love to see that part. Just naturally stunning. Period.
For sure.
Thank you. Thank
For
you.
sure. And so with the traveling stuff,
Oh yeah.
how did you get into that? And also, how has it been during the pandemic?
Right.
So I've always wanted to travel outside of the states. I just always had an interest to see what else. I guess maybe because I grew up in the country. It's a small little country town, so I want to see, what's out there. So I've always wanted to travel, and then like I've lived in like other different states. But I want to say in 2016, 2017, I went to Guatemala
Hmm.
and I was on my first travel sponsorship. And just how I do with like other brands, like I pitch, I pitched like tons and tons and tons of hotels. And so I ended up getting this travel sponsorship with a hotel in Antigua, Guatemala. And so I was in Guatemala for about a month. So I stayed at the hotel for like about a week, a couple of days to a week, and then I stayed at an Airbnb for the rest of the month. I loved it. I loved it just to see how other people live, how they eat, what they eat, just how they go about their everyday lives. And then I was deep into my still am deep into my consciousness then. So it was always interesting to see with the Mayan culture, like how it resembled a lot of like native African cultures. And so that was just always fascinating to me. And so ever since then, I've just been like on a roll with it, traveling, trying to travel even more. But with the pandemic, it was hard because, you just couldn't travel like that. And so I was able to leave again this past, when was it? Okay, in February, I went to Cartagena. No, I'm sorry. Beginning of February, I went to Mexico, to Oaxaca. And then towards the end of February, I went to Cartagena. And then in end of October, I'm sorry, I went to Mexico again. And
well, where's Cartagena? What's that?
It's a small city outside of Colombia.
Oh,
Black City, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right by the water.
So how do those sponsorships work? Like once you pitch, if they decide to work with you, they take care of everything?
Yeah, so it depends on what you negotiate for. And this is something that, I help other influencers with because there's so much out there that, you can get sponsored. You don't have to pay for everything. So my trip to Cartagena, I didn't pay for anything. The only thing I paid for was my flight and then my little taxi rides. But I didn't pay for the food. I didn't pay for the hotel. I stayed at 2 hotels. So that was all taken care of. And then for my Mexico trip, I didn't want to have to work for a hotel. So because it is a lot of work, it's a lot of work. It's not necessarily free because you have to work for them.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, what are your obligations?
Yeah. So in Cartagena, a few of the things that I offered them was, of course, like content pictures, but you can also offer things outside of posting photos and videos on your Instagram channel. So I have a drone, so I offer them drone services, video and photos they could use for their own social media. I wrote a blog post. So if you know anything about SEO, then the way I wrote the blog post was to help them with SEO so that when someone is typing into Google what to do in Cartagena, that blog post will come up.
Okay.
And so like that was one of the things that I offered them. Then of course, like whatever I posted on my page.
Right.
But in Mexico, I did not feel like doing all of that. So the sponsors that I got were for clothes, clothes and accessories. I didn't feel like doing all
that. So for your very first one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like what kind of proof did you have that you could be what I mean?
You know what? I was surprised that I got it because I had not traveled, but the proof that I had was my blog. And so I was like, okay, well, I have a few articles that are on the first page of Google and, I can do this thing for you and I'll, shoot a video for you. And they were like, okay. And I was surprised I got it, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to take it and I'm going to create content from it. So, but I think the blog helped me out a lot.
What advice would you give somebody out there that might want to get into that? Some young girl out there that's like, oh, I want to do that. I want to travel and make money.
Yeah, I think starting a blog is one of the best ways to do it. And I feel like because I have a blog, I don't necessarily have to worry about part of what we said earlier about how a lot of influencers, they're worried about like losing a check. A lot of my money comes from affiliate marketing. So, I'll get a percentage when somebody buys this cup. I get a percentage off of that. That comes from having a blog. I'm able to have affiliate links on my blog. I'm able to drive traffic to my website. So I don't necessarily have to worry about losing sponsorship money. But for someone that wants to get into travel, I say a blog is good. And just like writing, about the different places you want to go to, the different places that you're interested in, and then work on your Instagram. You don't necessarily have to leave the country or leave your state or city to travel. You can create travel content while you're in your city.
Right.
Mm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I have a another page. It's really small. I started. My son was like, "You should do a makeup page, right?" So it's like my only like really public page or whatever. And so I had some people reach out to me, like DMing me. Oh, well, we would love for you to do. We'll send you jewelry if you can. But then and one of them was a fitness. I posted myself. I think at the park or something. I had on some tennis shoes and I don't know. And we would like to send you, some workout clothes to post and work with you. So I, reached out like, what are you talking about? But they wanted me to buy it. I was like, no. Now other people, was like, we would like to send you, jewelry, to post and wear and put on your Instagram, give you an affiliate code, stuff like that. But the workout one that was like, yeah, but we'll send you buy the stuff. We're gonna give it to you at a discount and then you post it. I was like,
No,
no, that ain't gonna work. Others though will send you the jewelry and stuff like that.
no, you should never have to buy
Oh, they
into.
probably, but it's a small page, so they probably thought I was just like going to be all hype. You know what I'm saying? But I was
Yeah,
like, no,
they get a lot of
no.
people that way. But even when that happens, and that's why I have my contract in place, in which a lot of people don't know, especially when you're just accepting gifting, you still need to have a contract in place because you don't want that brand to use your photo for any paid ads or
Mhm.
any commercial use. Because
Right.
Mm.
when they do, then they need to be writing you a check. And if they already are, paying you for a certain post, you need to make sure that you have certain clauses in place so that if they are going to use your photo or your video for any paid ads, they need to add on to that. And then
Right.
you, as the influencer, you need to put like how long are they able to use that for paid ads. So it's a lot that goes into it that a lot of people really aren't aware of, and a lot of brands know that influencers aren't doing
Mhm.
Mhm.
it. They kind of take advantage of it.
So, would you recommend people getting a lawyer for those type of contracts, or is this something simple that you could look on
Yeah,
online?
I mean, it's simple. Once you have a contract, like it's pretty simple. But once you have a lot of followers, I would say get a contract. Um, I mean, not a contract, but a lawyer.
Mhm.
I would say so because you never know. I mean, I've seen it to where, and I've had it to happen to me before I was even using contracts. But I've had brands to use my content for paid ads, and they didn't even credit me for it. They didn't even tell me that they were using it. So it's not a good feeling.
Yeah, and do you get people out there like cloning pages of you, fake pages of you out there?
If it is, I don't know about it.
Okay.
Yeah, if it is, I don't know about it.
Yeah, well, they haven't hit me up yet, so you good.
That's
I think you're good. Because
that's
usually
Right.
that's what they do. The influencers, they always got all type of clone pages, and they just hit up your followers at like they're you, offering some type of
Mhm.
prize or something, something like that.
I've seen it happen, but I haven't had it to happen to me.
For our listeners, can you kind of explain the difference between a blogger and an influencer for those that don't know?
Yes.
The
So
difference.
I tend to use that term kind of interchangeably, but blogger is more so when you have like a website, which is what I have, and then you're actually like writing on that website, you're writing articles, you have pictures up there. That's more of what a blogger does, and an influencer or social media influencer, it's more of just like Instagram, TikTok, that sort of deal. So it's
Right.
not as much work as what it is
Mm,
when you're influencing.
really?
Yeah. Because you don't have to be responsible for the maintenance of your website. You don't have to be
Mhm.
responsible for writing articles, editing. So it's a lot easier.
Right.
It's a lot easier.
So when you're traveling, and I saw your gorgeous photos, so you're out there setting up the tripod and everything, or do you have someone helping you? You
No, so
don't.
my past trip to Mexico was my first non-solo international trip. So my friend came with me and like we helped each other out taking photos, but usually it is just me. I have
Wow.
either my iPhone or my DSLR camera. I have my tripod I just press the button.
Yes, I got your clicker.
You know what? No, I take that back. My Cartagena trip, when I went there was a local photographer, and I reached out to her, and she helped me take some photos of just me in the city. But besides that, it's just me.
And do you research some of these places so that you know you're going to be safe? You know, traveling by yourself like that,
Um,
or you just go with it?
I just go with it. That's probably not a good thing. I just kind of go with it. And the reason why I say that is because when I went to Acapulco, and like when you Google Acapulco, it'll say like, I don't know, like one of the most dangerous cities. Like, don't go there. I was there by myself. I stayed in a local area, and it was the safest that I have felt when I had traveled. People were very welcoming. It was the taxi guy, and then this other lady, but the taxi guy, he was like, "Oh, you look like my granddaughter." And like where Acapulco is, it's near. It's not far from a black town, a black Mexican town. So you see a lot of, not as dark as me, and probably the hair isn't as kinky as mine, but obviously you can tell like there's black somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then the lady that I ended up meeting, she would always fix me like these fried plantains. Like she would always say, "Oh, my little granddaughter." I'm like, okay. So it was like the safest I felt. But I mean, there are a few cities that I probably wouldn't go because of the racism. Like I probably would never go to Italy. A lot of European towns I probably would never go. But
At least not by yourself anyway.
yeah, not by myself.
Yeah.
Not by myself.
Yeah. It was like that for me and my wife. We went to Cuba. We were in Havana, just a stop by on a cruise. But yeah, the people there, was surprising to me was how much they embraced their blackness, and they was just happy to see us. You know what I'm saying? Like they kept saying, like, "Yo, you look like my cousin. You look like, look at me and you. We similar. Like they were going out their way to stress the fact, like we the same.
Yes,
You know what
that's
I'm
how
saying?
I was when I was in Colombia, in Cartagena.
Yeah, because I know like certain Spanish, especially Spanish speaking places, it's not really like that. Like in Dominican Republic,
No.
you can't tell them they black. They be dark as night.
Right. I know black. I'm Dominican.
For real.
I wanted to say it, but you said it.
I know black.
For real. Like, okay, Poppy.
Okay.
Whatever you say, Poppy.
But a lot of people, they are excited to see black people from other areas of the world. So I definitely feel a safeness when it comes to that.
Yeah, that's good.
So when traveling, do you have a favorite season?
Honestly, whatever city that I'm going to, whatever their off season is.
Okay.
And usually it's their rainy season. So a lot of the places that I travel to are really tropical. And so I try to travel during their off or rainy season. Just because it's not that many people out there, you get better deals as far as, if you do have to pay for a hotel, then the hotels are cheaper, the tours are cheaper. And then a lot of people think the rainy season that it's raining all day. It's not. It'll just like rain for maybe a good hour. It'll rain.
Tropical rain.
Yeah, and then that's it.
I went to Trinidad. It literally rained every single day. Like you said, an hour, maybe, right? And then after that, it was over.
Yeah.
Every single Jamaica, same thing. And I went to Jamaica in December. It was during the December month. Same thing, rained every single day. It seemed like the same time, 1 o'clock, for about an hour, and it was just over. And you just go on about your day. It's hot again. Get in the pool, relax.
Yeah, but it's a lot calmer. Maybe once I've traveled during a busy season. I think when I was in Mexico this past time, I think it was a busy season. But that was really it. I prefer the off season. It's not crowded. It's more peaceful.
Well,
not
that's
too
good
many people.
information there. Just for a traveler, period. Whether you're blogging or an influencer or not, good information. Go during off season, y'all. It's cheaper.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Crowded. You can do more. You get more for your money, especially for the tours because they go down. In the price. do more with your family.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And then if you like to haggle prices, then I mean you can haggle even more, or they're willing to go down, especially with the taxi prices.
Right.
So yeah.
So do they have Ubers in like a lot of these like foreign countries as well?
So they do, like, they have different versions of Uber. But there's always like beef between like the Uber people and like the regular taxi people, just because the taxi people feel like the Ubers, they're taking their money. So in Cartagena, they had Uber, but the Uber was basically running illegally.
Mm.
So there was a few people who took it, but most people took taxis. And so like a lot of times, like the taxi people, they would get like really mad at the Uber people. So from that
Mhm.
aspect, I didn't think it was safe to take
Right.
Uber.
Yeah. No, that's
When
true
I was
too.
in Southeast Asia, they had a version of Uber, and that was pretty safe. In a lot of the smaller towns, they don't, or like the smaller islands, they don't have Ubers. They just have taxis. Both times when I went to Mexico, they did not have Uber. When I went to Guatemala, they didn't have it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, when I
I
went
want
to
to I want I
Trinidad,
want to hear some more of these travel tips.
yeah,
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
yeah. We know off season.
Austin.
Off
Um,
season one.
what other ones do I have? So whenever I go to the airport, I don't have one with me, but I always carry an empty water bottle.
Okay.
And so I don't know if y'all do this, but it's cheaper than just buying water all the time. So at the airports, they have like the cleanest water. And so instead of buying water at the airport, I just always fill it up. And a lot of times when you're in foreign countries, it's something about Black people, but they just love Black people. When I want to say maybe Thailand. I was at one of the airports, some airport in Southeast Asia, and I was just like waiting in this long line. And then this worker, she like was like, "Come here, come here." And I was like, "What she want?" She's like, and she showed me where it was a separate water fountain, and she was like, "Oh, no line, no line." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." And
Wow.
it's always cheaper to take your water bottle, and even when you're in the city. So in Guatemala, they were doing this. Instead of buying water, you just go up to like a restaurant and ask them how much to fill up your water bottle, and they'll do it for you. But to me,
Mm,
it's just better
yeah.
than buying water, because water adds up. Like once you're like constantly buying it. What
Especially in those
else?
airports.
Do I?
I said, especially in those airports, they be taxing.
Hmm.
Yeah, they
They be
Yeah.
do.
taxing.
I feel like it's cheaper to get an Airbnb
Okay.
than
Yeah.
it is for a hotel, especially if you like to eat and cook. Um,
Mhm.
just because going out to eat, it just adds up. When you get a Airbnb, depending on where you are, sometimes it's cheap to even hire a cook, or maybe you can get a really, really nice Airbnb. I know in Southeast Asia they were like this, but it's like a villa. And they have a pool. The pool is overlooking the water. It might be like an infinity pool, but it's absolutely gorgeous. And a lot of times when you split it with several people, it's cheaper than
Mhm.
a hotel. Then you get more for your money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
What
What about trying the local foods? Right? How's that experience? Because I know for me, when I go anywhere, I want to try. You're there to try and experience the culture.
Yeah. So for me, since I don't eat meat, I don't eat dairy. Um, my big thing, I love going to like the open air markets where they
Mhm.
have like the fresh fruits and vegetables. That's my thing. Like in every city that I go to, I'm always there. Um, and a lot of times it's cheaper. It's a whole lot cheaper to do that. They have street food. I haven't had street food before. Just because I'm always scared.
Yeah.
I'm
Street food
always
be
scared
banging.
I might get sick.
They did. I did in
You know what?
Jamaica.
Once I did. I had street food
Mhm.
and I got really sick. And after that, I was like, no, I don't want to be that adventurous anymore.
Um,
Actually, and in
what are some what are
Trinidad.
some of the negative experiences that you had traveling
Yeah.
abroad?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Um, so my first time leaving, I was in Guatemala. And just because I'm hyper aware, um, I noticed how over sexualized I was. Just by
Mm.
me being a Black woman, I was like, you know what, let me leave. Because I was at an Airbnb at this point. I was like, you know what, let me leave in like something like ridiculously tacky and see if the same thing is going to happen. And it would always happen. I was always sexualized, over
Wow.
sexualized. Like men would, try to take me home or try to be overly aggressive towards me.
Mm.
And I
Touching.
think part of that was because I was by myself. So they felt like they could do that. But I definitely have had that to happen to me a few times.
Wow.
Well,
That's
I
scary.
think some ladies that go on trips by themselves, that's what they're looking for. So that might be prior experiences like, oh, she out here dolo. Okay, I know what time it is with this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just
I'm over here
saying.
trying to mind my business.
I don't know because I mean I feel like I personally experienced that here, in the States, right? They just do think that Black women are overly sexual, maybe, and so they do sexualize you. They get touchy. They think that that's okay.
Hmm.
Saying certain things, it's really bad here. You can't go into the grocery store, like if even if they're trying to approach you, say for the phone number, what I'm saying, to get your number, it's touching
Yeah.
involved in it, like what I'm saying, like it's creepy, and
You think
I
that
don't know,
that
if it's
comes
men
from
or us.
a lot of the twerking that goes on?
I
Hmm.
feel like I feel like it's the media. Like every
Yeah,
time you see us, we are
on tables.
always sexualized. Like it's some sexual scene, which is always over sexualized
Yeah.
Mm.
to the point to where it looks like there's no, when it comes to actresses, it just feels like there's no, I guess, range in what we
Mhm.
can be. It's either we're like a crackhead or
Right. True.
Prostitute. I've heard it.
or just we're just hypersexual.
Right.
It
It's
doesn't
true.
seem like there is an in between. Well, so when I was in Mexico, and I haven't seen it before until then, but it's the Megan Thee Stallion video with Cardi B.
Hmm.
WAP.
The
Um,
WAP.
yeah, that one. And so like me and my friend were at this restaurant, and then this video is playing on a big screen, and like everybody is watching it, and I'm just kind of internally embarrassed. And then there's
Mm.
this child that's sitting on the bench, and like they're watching it, and I'm just like, no, this isn't okay. Like,
Right.
and everybody is just like watching this video, and I'm just like disgusted.
And that's us. That's how they see us around the world.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mm.
unfortunately. But,
yeah,
thankfully we have, bloggers such as yourself and influencers such as yourself that's showing a different type. Like I'm looking at, your Instagram right now. Very tasteful, but then there's, photos that are very sexy, but tasteful sexy. You ain't busting it open, what I'm saying? Because you don't have to do all that. First of all, you're naturally sexy. You're just a gorgeous, Black woman. So you don't have to overdo it, to do it.
yeah.
And,
And
I
that's
just,
not the attention. Thank you for that, but that's not the attention I want to attract anyway.
right,
Like it's work. That's work. Having
right.
just
Mhm.
men and DMs, like that's work. I don't want that attention. Like I don't
Right.
want that attention. And even like I was talking to a friend about this, but I was like, even when I'm outside at the beach or whatever, I still want to be kind of mindful about posting swimsuit photos. Like I'll take them, but
Mhm.
I won't post them just because I know the type of attention that'll bring.
Mhm.
I
The
don't think it's
energy.
anything wrong with it if other people do it, but just for me, it's just like, I don't know. I don't want that attention. That's a
Right.
lot.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it because there's always that one or two, that's gonna slide in the DM.
Yeah, I'm just like, you know what? No, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nevertheless, still tasteful. I'm just looking at, I looked at, your full. I was going all the way down. I was just like, this thing is just like so, thought out. It's well thought out. It's very well put together. And I just saw beautiful. I saw class. I saw sexy. It made me want to visit, you know, the places that you visited. There's a few outfits that I want to ask you about. Where can I get it? Like it's everything, right? Which is what it's supposed to be. That's what it's supposed to do.
Yeah. And you know
Yeah.
what? I have a thing for dresses, and I love dresses, and I think I post too many photos of me in dresses. But I don't know, I just think they're so flattering for women. And so
I
Even
concur.
the colors, like the backdrops, whatever it may be, like it's just like I'm saying, it's superb. I love it.
thank you. Thank
I,
you.
you said that you don't eat meat or dairy. Are you vegan?
So I don't like to categorize myself as vegan.
Okay.
I guess technically,
Just
I don't.
plant based.
Yeah. So, but I don't eat a lot of things that a lot of vegans do eat. So, like a lot of the processed foods. So
Mm.
the Beyond Burgers or the
Yeah,
Impossible.
mhm.
Hmm.
I don't eat that. I don't eat soy. So I don't eat a lot of processed foods, but I also eat or consume honey. So,
Okay. Okay.
so
Yeah, I know a lot
apparently
of
you're
people.
not vegan if you eat honey. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, it
Yeah.
has so many medicinal benefits. So I'm just like, I don't want to give that up.
Mhm.
So when you're looking for brands to represent, does that play a part in it? Like, are you looking for people who use natural products and their stuff?
So when it comes to fashion brands, not necessarily. Just because I would rather buy real leather anything than
Hmm.
plastic leather or the
Hmm.
faux leather, whatever it's called, just because it
Whatever.
lasts longer. Real leather is more sustainable, in my opinion, just because you don't have to throw it away. But with the plastic leather,
Mhm.
you have to. So that's that process. When it comes to that, when it comes to beauty products, I'm shifting more towards either clean. They don't necessarily have to be vegan, but I notice my skin does a lot better when I stick to a lot of the clean beauty brands. Um, I bought it was so much makeup I bought from MAC, and it was like the concealer,
Mhm.
the foundation, and it just broke my face out. And after then, I was like, you know what, I have to like stick to a lot of the clean ingredients. As far as like my
Mhm.
facial cleansers, I tend to keep that simple African black soap, shea butter,
Mhm.
works for me. When it comes to food, then food, it needs to be vegan, but
Got you.
like non-processed vegan.
Mhm. Fresh.
Got you. I guess
I
my
love
question would
everything.
be, let's say a company like Mac, you got a good thing going with them as far as a sponsorship, but their products aren't working for you. Does that create a conflict, or you gonna get that back? How does that work?
Nah, it creates a conflict.
Okay.
I can't do that.
Mhm.
Because I'm saying it might not be right with your skin, but for some of your followers it might be great.
And I understand that, but from an influencer standpoint, when I promote a product, I have to promote it as if it works for my skin and
Got
like
you.
it's good for me. And like I don't know, I can't lie to people like that.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Not for
Okay.
no money. Like it's to me, it's not that deep. Like it'll be other checks.
Right. Even with influencers, I feel like even if they did send it to you and say it was vegan, right?
Mhm.
It was clean makeup. If I don't like it, right, I have to also give my honest review on that product, right? That doesn't mean other people are not going to like it because I've definitely purchased several things that were recommended by other people and it just didn't work for me. Some did, but some
Yeah.
was like, especially primers. Now
Mhm.
I'm finding out that my makeup looks better without a primer. Like I think I've grown out of it completely. Like I don't need it. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like people still have, like you said, give your honest review if you're asking to give a review, basically.
Yeah. And honestly, part of that to me, it comes with a contract, like the negotiation process.
Mm.
So you could have it to where you have a brand to send you a sample size so you can try it out first before committing to the sponsorship. And sometimes if they can't do that, then to me, like you would say, I'm going to give my honest opinion.
Mhm.
But sometimes brands don't like that. Early in my career, I'm not going to mention the brand, but we did mention them earlier before in the conversation. But they sent some products for me to use, and I wrote about them. And it was my honest opinion. And, just because I'm into ingredients, I researched like the first 5 ingredients, and I wrote about it, like the cons and, the pros of it. And they had a few questionable ingredients. And I mean, I wrote about it. I didn't lie about it, but they weren't very happy with me for doing that.
You were just supposed to be flattered about receiving the product and
Yeah,
not do that. No, I'm
no,
just
I
kidding.
mean, I guess maybe I was.
Yeah. I mean, that's how some of them. I
But I
think
was
that's
like,
how some of them think.
no, they had, I can't think of the name of the ingredient, but it was in one of their toners. And it was an ingredient that they use in the medical field to clean and sterilize their, I guess, equipment. And they had this in their toner. And I was
Mm.
like, no.
Oh no.
Right.
No.
So I'm very picky about a lot of the brands that I work with, extremely picky. Just because, like, whatever I do promote, they're things that I would use into my everyday life. So I don't ever want to promote something that I really don't like or that's not good for my skin or whatever. But I'm very picky about the brands that I work with.
As you should be.
Yeah, agree.
So we touched on travel, we touched on style, beauty, a little bit of wellness. Let's get into this event that you got coming up. This is
Yeah.
what, number 3 for you?
Yes, number 3. So technically it's supposed to be the 4th one, but I had to postpone it because of COVID.
Ah.
Yeah, because of COVID. But this is the third.
So when was the first one?
It was in 2018.
Okay, before the pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah, the first one was in 2018. And it was always during the time of South by Southwest in Austin.
Okay.
And so this is the first time that we're bringing it to Houston, just because there's a bigger market. There's a lot more Black people here because the festival is geared towards Black women. So there's a lot more Black women here in Houston than what it is in Austin. So,
Okay, so tell us about it. What's the whole premise and everything like that?
so natural hair is just the common denominator, just because the event is more than natural hair. So for the first day, which is Friday, it's about wellness. So we have yoga. And they'll be performing yoga to the sounds of African drumming. We'll have meditation with sound bowls. You'll have different workshops going on. Yoni steaming, a chakra class. We'll have some spiritual enlightenment workshops. And so Friday is just the whole day about wellness. And then Saturday is the day of the actual festival. And so both days you have vendors, you have food. So Saturday is more about, you see the women with their natural hair, you have different workshops to attend, food, you have music. It's just like a whole vibe. And honestly, the attendees make the festival. Like, they're coming, they're bringing their energy, and it wouldn't be anything without the attendees. So
Do you get a good amount of men that show up?
So the past festival that we had, yes, it was a lot more men coming, and where women are, men will start following.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I want to know.
Yeah, yeah. So, and I feel like for this year we'll have a lot more men, especially since it's in Houston.
Shout out to Jackson Harlem out there in Houston.
Right? Yes. And then
So
I follow Jasmine Winters, who's also a natural hair influencer.
I think I've
Out of
heard of her.
out of Houston as well.
Okay.
right. So I got the site pulled up here
Yeah, that's the
for
festival.
the Blossom and Soul Natural Hair Festival.
Yes.
And I just,
Yes.
it looks like a dope event. It looks like a lot of fun. A
Yeah.
lot of beautiful Black women and their natural beauty. You know what I'm saying? Opportunity to support some vendors out there as well.
Right.
Yeah.
outdoor
That's
event.
cool vibe. Just come as you are. I mean, natural hair is just the common denominator just to get people, ears kind of perked up about it. But it's come as you are. Like weave, relax. It don't matter. Just
Right.
come as you are. Get some knowledge. Get some knowledge yourself. Vibe out with other women.
And you are the founder of this event, right?
Yes, I am.
How did it come about? The first one.
So it was when I got invited to South by Southwest, and then, I didn't like how they were doing things. And so I wanted to have something of my own, but nothing to that magnitude at all, like no more than like 20 women, just like a little get together.
Okay.
And then when I promoted it, so many women were interested in it. So I had to like hurry up and find like an event space for it. And so in Austin, we ended up finding it's the HBCU that's in Austin. And so we had it at that campus at a HBCU for the past 2 years.
Okay.
And then this year it's at the Shrine of the Black Madonna, which is also Black owned. So keeping it Black.
That's
Yes,
right.
yes,
That's
indeed.
right. So a lot of
Indeed.
Black vendors going to be out there as well. So that will be a chance for people that can go to support some other, small Black businesses as well.
Agreed.
Big and
Agreed.
small.
Yeah. And so like another thing that I'm passionate about just in life is, supporting Black owned brands. And I want them to come out, the attendees to come out and purchase and patronize these Black owned
Yes.
brands. And the past couple years, when they've been coming out, the attendees, like the vendors, the first year, a lot of the vendors sold out. They sold
Wow.
out. And so,
Beautiful.
and I think that's one of the things that keeps the vendors coming back because they're like, girl, your attendees, they shop. And I'm like, good.
That's right.
They better.
So I just want to read this little description right here because it sounds like a wonderful place to be. So Blossom and Soul Wellness is an outdoor multi-sensory experience where attendees will be able to experience a variety of mental and physical wellness related activities, which includes meditation, yoga, sound therapy, women's health, etc. The highlight of Blossom and Soul Wellness is our annual Soul Awakening yoga and meditation practice. Attendees will be immersed in sacred sounds, rhythms, and frequencies with the assistance of ancestral African drumming and Tibetan singing bowls in order to help cleanse the soul and to reconnect with their higher selves. I love it.
Yes. Yes
I
to higher
love
self.
it.
Thank
Yes.
Thank you. I'm all about continuously working on yourself to make yourself better. And so that's just one of the things that I wanted to relay across to the different attendees that come. Like, this is self-care and just working on yourself. It's not about like cute bubble baths, even though like
Right.
that's fun, but it's about doing, and a lot of people call it shadow work, but it's about like constantly revisiting that part of yourself in order to make yourself in the present better.
So it's a 2-day event, right?
Mm-hmm. So Friday is the wellness, and Saturday is the actual like festival.
2-day event, Sister Colette. Yep.
It's very, very spiritual, it seems. It's
Thank
wellness, but it's also, spiritual in
Yeah,
a
so
way.
like
Mhm.
everything about that festival is like a direct reflection of me
Mhm.
and like the different things that I do. So yeah, it is very spiritual and that.
Oh, can I show
Yeah, sure.
this? Yes, let me show this. Uh, 1 second. So this is like some footage from the previous events, right?
Uh,
Um,
oh yeah.
Hi, I'm Dinah Chuku, and
Yeah.
I'm here at Curly Girl Picnic. This is the first and only event dedicated to natural hair and beauty for Black women at South by Southwest.
I came out to support the Curly Girl Picnic to be able to participate and engage with beautiful Black women so that we have a space for us to be able to talk about things that affect us.
I've lived in Austin for 5 years, and I have not seen this many Black women in one space since I've been here. And I'm constantly seeking them out. I'm constantly seeking myself out to be reflected in fashion. It's been so beautiful to see fashion, hair, makeup, body type, body image in one place.
We need a platform to bring us together as women. We're very ununified. And I wanted a platform to celebrate our beauty and our intelligence. So I created the Curly Girl Pick. It's a platform that's for us and that's put on by us and that celebrates us. And next time for next year, it'll be even bigger and better.
This event just presented an opportunity for me to come and see like-minded people building and successful and thriving Black women all in one place. We're trading phone numbers. We're passing out friendship business cards. We're learning about our hair. We're taking care of our skin. It's everything that I would hope it was. So it was great.
Dope.
Nice.
Dope.
Thank you.
You know what I love? I love to see Black women fellowshipping with one another, right? Because it's also a fellowship and, sisters and brothers, obviously, coming together and everyone's glad and happy to be there and meet each other. It's none of that, oh, where she come from? It's just, you, my sister. You know what I'm saying?
So-
Complimenting one another and supporting that part I love.
So the main women that you saw in that video when they were all sitting down, so two of them were people that I already knew. They were my friends. But I think the other three, they just met that day. And so they were looking for a place to sit. And so the two girls, they were like, hey, sis, like you can sit over here. Like you don't have to sit by yourself. So it's like that vibe. It's a lot of that. So
That's great.
whenever you come, it's like there aren't any strangers here. It's like, hey, sis.
Right.
Oh, sis, you good?
We family. Yeah.
And we need those spaces
I saw that
because
right away.
you never know what can come out of those type of spaces. You know what I'm saying? Different people connecting. You know what I'm saying? God will place people at that festival for a specific reason to build something even more magical and beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Later on down the line. So it's great that you created this space for our people, for our sisters in particular. I love it.
Yeah. And then, like, one of the things that I always say, especially dealing with the festival, is that we don't have to look outside of our community for anything. Like, if there's anything that we need or, need to have access to, like, we have talented people amongst our own group. Like, we don't need to depend on any outside community for anything. And so one of the things that I always try to get through with a lot of the attendees, like, talk to them, like, see what they do. You just never know. You never know. As much as other groups of people rely on Black people for things, like, we need to start relying.
Absolutely.
Right. You're the source.
Yeah, we are the source.
Yeah.
We are the source.
Definitely. I forgot all about that video.
Oh, he be digging.
We be getting all up in your Black business. That's
all up in your Black business.
That's what we do. Now, do you edit those videos yourself?
I did not. So I believe the girl who created that video, she was from press. And so her video team, they edited those videos. But a lot of my own videos, I'll edit them.
Okay. So that was March 11th this year, right? March 11th is going to be in Houston at the Shrine of the Black Madonna.
March 11th and 12th.
11th and 12th. So, yeah, for those of y'all that's out there in the Houston area, sound like it's a situation that you might want to be a part of. And are you still looking for vendors, or is all of that already locked down?
Yeah, so a lot of the vendors that were from the Postponed Festival, they're coming to this one. But I mean, we're always looking for vendors.
And this one is going to be outdoor as well.
So it's going to be both outdoors and indoors. So a lot of the workshops, they're going to be indoors, and then the main things are going to happen outside.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're gonna be outside yoni steaming and all that.
We have an indoor space for it. We have an indoor space for it.
Talking about getting all up in the black business.
Right.
We have an indoor space for that.
Right. Cool.
So I guess another question I have, or I want to ask, is what is one myth about your industry, whether it be blogging or influencer? What myth would you like to basically debunk when it comes to this whole blogging influencer game?
So a lot of people feel that it's not a lot of work that goes into what bloggers and influencers do, but it is. A lot of times I am just a one woman team, especially when it comes to a lot of stuff that I do. But like with the blog, I'm like the technical person. I'm the person that's writing. I'm the person that's editing. I'm the person that's taking videos. I'm the person that's editing them. The person that's taking the photos. The person that's editing the photos. I'm the person that is doing the pitching. I'm the person that's always behind the email. When it comes to the actual Instagram side of things, it's just me.
Wow.
And it doesn't seem like it's a lot of work, but most of the work that's done is done behind the scenes,
Right.
especially when it's just you. Even
Yeah.
when it comes to negotiating, it's a long process. When something is down with the website, especially when you're not tech savvy, I'm not tech savvy at all, then you have to figure it out.
Right.
So you get to the point where you can afford other people.
Mhm.
How would you
So
say your career choice? Go ahead. You had a follow up to that before I switch.
no, go ahead.
All right.
I'm gonna stress
How
this
would you
out.
say that your career choice aligns with your God given purpose?
Oh yeah.
I don't feel like it does. Well, actually, no, that's not true. When you said that, I was thinking about what my major was in school, and I was like, no,
Okay.
that doesn't. But I feel like it does, just because I'm able to encourage other women to be themselves. I don't necessarily have to fit the standard of any other company or any other person. I can basically just do what I want to do, especially when it comes to, and I hate to say it, like instances like George Floyd. I can feel free to be myself. I don't have to beg other companies to accept me. And I feel like in that, I can encourage other Black women to do this thing. So in that aspect, I feel like it does.
Okay. Yeah, because I think some people don't necessarily have the answer to that question or haven't really given it much thought. But I think if we ask ourselves, is what I'm doing, if money was not an issue, right? If I didn't have to worry about money ever, like, what I'm saying, all my needs are taken care of, would I still be doing what I'm doing? You know what I'm saying? And I think if the answer is yes, then you can
Yeah.
be sure that you're working within your purpose.
Yeah. I mean, I've tried working for other people. But even if the pay was somewhat decent, I've always felt unfulfilled.
Mm.
And so I've never had like a job too long because I'm just like, oh, no, I don't like it. But I definitely feel fulfilled. And I feel like I'm able to live out my purpose doing what I'm doing now.
Right.
And you said you're a mom, right?
You said what?
You're a mom as well, right?
No, I'm not a mother.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, I thought so too. Because it was one part you was like as a mother, or you said as a parent. So I assumed that too, but you were
Oh,
just talking, I think, speaking in general.
no. I guess I was speaking, future
In
self.
general.
Like if
Yeah.
I had children. Yeah.
Okay, got you. Yeah, because I was gonna say, okay, how you juggling all of this and being a mom? You know what I'm saying?
That would be pretty hard.
Yeah. Especially with the traveling,
Yeah, I know. But this past time in Mexico, there are so many other Black families that have just moved to Mexico, living outside of the States with their children, husband and wives, and they are enjoying it.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you picked up on any other languages then?
So I can understand Spanish. I can speak it okay. But when I was in Cartagena, because the dial or the accent is different, it
Mhm.
sounds different from Mexican Spanish. It
Right.
was hard for me to understand, and even like the tone and the rhythm and how they speak it, it takes me a while to like figure out
Yeah.
what they're saying. So,
Even certain lingo will have different meanings. Like, they might be saying
mhm,
the same words, but they use it differently.
yeah,
I
or
just
like
know that from growing up in New York. You know what I'm saying? We
yeah,
got the Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, and then later on the Mexicans came. And, I picked up on those little nuances with the language.
yeah, yeah. It's very different. And in Texas, I'm just used to Mexican Spanish and not
Hmm.
necessarily any other Spanish.
Right.
So
Hmm.
yeah, but I want to learn Spanish. That's one of my goals to learn it fluently.
Um, so, who are three people who have been most influential to you?
Ooh, okay. I would say my grandmother, my mother, and my great aunt, which is my grandmother's sister.
Always
A
the
lot of
black women. Yes.
black women energy,
Yeah,
Yes.
black goddess
Yes.
energy.
yeah.
Yes.
And I think it's just from seeing them and how they work and how they were throughout their relationships and how they really like hold it down for the family. I don't know if that's good or bad, but just to see them in that, like they never give up, they never stop loving. That's like a big motivator for me. And
Mhm.
even their style, like it's just like okay, like you got style.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
I would always, when I used to live in New York, I would visit my aunt. She lived in New Jersey, and so I would always like go through her closet and see what she had. But she had style, so
So I gotta ask about the men. How is it trying to date? With the lifestyle that you have and all of that. You
Right.
don't sit down nowhere. You know what I'm saying? I know some men might want you to sit down somewhere. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
you know,
Um,
Look at her. She's like,
honestly, so I haven't been anywhere that long to where it's like over a month since like before the pandemic.
okay,
And
well,
so in that, I was in a relationship at the time, and like that was okay. We would just like call, FaceTime, or whatever. But that ended up not working out. But now, like I've never gone that long, and I don't think I want to live anywhere for that long of a time anyway. But honestly, it's not the travel. It's not the travel that's the issue.
okay,
It's
busy.
I know alpha saying someone is alpha man can mean so much to different women. A lot of times people make it seem like it's something that's toxic. I don't look at it in that sense, but I really like a man's man. And as a woman, I want to be comfortable in my own vulnerability with you. And I can't do that if I don't feel safe physically, if I don't feel safe emotionally, if you aren't in tune with yourself emotionally, and if you aren't willing to work on yourself and like heal whatever wounds you have. So honestly, that's the hard part with dating.
okay.
And a lot of times men, at least the men that I've encountered, they're not ready to do that work.
Mm-hmm.
I like that answer because
Hi.
that
Hi.
that tells me that there's a level of self-awareness there. You know what I'm saying? Understanding yourself and understanding what it is that you need, and the counterpart. And
Yeah,
also, what I'm saying, I kind of dig, the requirements that you have. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So that's what's up.
Yeah, I
That's
feel like
what's
my
up.
requirements, they're not superficial, but I'm willing to
No,
be accountable. And
no, it just seems like you said, there's this whole toxic masculinity thing being pushed out there. And so the type of men that you are describing seem to be scarce. You know what I'm saying? I guess because it's just not, you know, I don't know, man. I don't know. A lot of dudes was raised by single women. You know what I mean? A lot of dudes haven't had that type of manhood instilled with them. I can't tell how old you are. You can never tell how old Black women are. So you know what I'm saying. But when you get down to like the millennials and under, I think it's just I don't know, man. There's something missing there.
Yeah, it is difficult. It's kind of hard to weed them out. And, I have a little cousin that always likes to hang out with me. She's 17. And so I know it's hard for her. And she's kind of like mirroring how, I do things. And I know it's hard for her. I'm just like,
Yeah, yeah. I have a 16-year-old and a 26-year-old, and I tell them both I feel sorry for them. Just this generation, as far as the dating is concerned. So when we came to Dallas, by the way, in July, we went to Dallas first. Oh, yeah, Houston first. I'm sorry, and then to New Orleans, right? And my
mhm.
son says, "Well, Mom, if I ever, move to a state, I would pick Texas because the girls in Texas is better than the ones up in Louisiana." Like he was coming, and he was like, "It's the Texas ones, Mom." The women in Texas, he chose Texas all the way.
Shout out to Texas.
That's
Yeah. I was like, kid, if you don't shut up, he was like, the women in Texas. He was literally comparing. I was like, we got back to the Airbnb. He was like, Mom. When he said it, I was like, oh my God, you're already looking at that?
You're raising the young player over there. You know what I mean? Big player.
That's too cute.
Yeah, I'm worried. He got those little hazel eyes, so he's trying to back those eyes right now. I'm like, Lord, I wasn't ready. I just wasn't ready.
That's funny.
Man, so again, all right, before we go there, what question would you ask you that we haven't thought to ask?
Gosh, I don't know. We talk about a lot.
Yeah. Oh no, I guess that means we did a good job. That means we did a good
We
job.
did a good job. Another one there.
We covered it.
We covered it.
Y'all did good. I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
This
What about in the chat,
the
guys?
most thorough interview that I've had in a while.
Thank you.
I've covered like a range of things.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But if anybody has any final questions in the chat, we are getting ready to wind this thing down. So you could just put your questions in the chat if you want us to ask anything before we get out of here. All right, but we do have two parting questions that we do it with each guest before we leave. Hold on, Coco Bates. Let me see what he said. What do you feel the connection is between spirituality and natural hair? I like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So for me, when I first went natural, it was never to stay natural. It was, now I'm telling my age. So when I first went natural, it was only to grow my hair out so that I can get a relaxer again. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a protective styling thing for about a year. And during my protective styling journey, when I thought I was just going to cut it off just to get a relaxer, I just started learning more about who I was as a Black woman, and learning about, I guess, the spiritual aspect of our hair. Like our hair is antennas, it's kinky. It, receives and delivers messages from the universe. And so from that, to me, that was a big enough reason for me not to straighten my hair. And I was like, okay. And I would just constantly learn things about, who I was as a person. And then I got into just energy, because I'm extremely sensitive to energy. And that's when I started wrapping my hair, just because I just wouldn't want that energy to me. But there's definitely a huge connection between spirituality and natural hair. Huge connection.
I agree.
And so did you start discovering some of that information, like looking at other influencers when you were trying to figure out what to do with your natural hair?
No.
No.
This was not the time of influencers.
Oh,
This was about 10 years ago. No. This was 12 years ago.
okay.
This was 12 years ago. So Instagram was not around. I don't think Instagram was around. So my best resource was Google. So a lot of things that I read was through Google, and then I got into books. So that's where a lot of my knowledge comes from. But I wasn't getting any of this from any YouTubers. Even now, I don't know of too many, I guess, influencers that speak about that.
Okay. When I went me too. When I went natural, I thought I would go back, but I never did. Maybe 7 years ago. That's our sister by nature, Sister Colette, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I did, I took my son to the barbershop. I guess it's been about maybe 7 years for me, 8 years. And the barber finished, and I was like, you know what? Do me too. And he had a female barber at the time, and she was like, "Do what?" And I was like, I took my scrunchie off my hair, and I was like, "Just take it off." And she was like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "Yeah." It just was so organic. It was so organic. I had no plans. It was just so organic. And then she was like, "We'll just start a little," So it was like a little baby fro. And then she was like, I was like, "No, let's a little more. Let's go down. Like, let's just take it off." And I felt so good. Like, I don't know. It was just, I felt like
Same.
I told you I was reborn or something. I cannot explain it, but it's like a rebirth. Seriously, it really is. And again, I didn't
Same.
even plan. Hmm.
Same. I was in the mirror and I just chopped it off. I just
Yeah.
chopped it off. I was like, I can't do it. And then when I cut my hair off, I remember the next morning, I felt new. I felt a rebirth.
Hmm.
It felt like me wearing a relaxer for so long and just trying to assimilate to whatever European beauty standards that was out there. I just felt like that burden was taken
It
off.
was like
And I
going,
was
yeah.
like, that morning, I took a shower, I washed my hair, and then I went out to run errands. And I was just like, this was different. Like, this
I
was
got
different.
more action. I
New.
actually got more action from black men, and it was like,
Same.
I know the approach was
Mm.
actually different. Honestly, the approach, the way that I was being approached, was absolutely different. And I was like, y'all like this
Same.
little nappy bald head? You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? It was just
Yeah.
different. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't straighten my hair too much anymore, but I never really have. But I notice the times whenever I do straighten my hair, for trim or whatever, the
Mhm.
attention that I get from men is completely different.
It's
Like, I
different.
prefer the attention that I get from men when my hair is natural. But
Yeah.
like when my hair
I
is
was
straight,
saying.
it's just like, ew, where did you come from?
Right. So, Sincere, can you please help us with that? Why is it that women, black women, actually are treated, it seems better when our hair is in a natural state versus when it's not?
Me personally, I love it. You know what I'm saying? I prefer it. You know what I mean? I don't mind, the weaves and the girls that wear their hair straightened or whatever the case may be. But I just love black women with natural hair. You know what I'm saying? Especially natural curly hair. You know what I'm saying? I think it looks better. You know what I'm saying? To me, it just does. And I was surprised to hear you say that, you was getting approached more. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
I'm thinking that's just me, being a conscious brother. You know what I'm saying? That I would like something like that. But y'all look better. Y'all look better the way God designed y'all. You know what I'm saying? That's just my honest opinion. You know what I'm saying? I mean, girls could get very creative with their looks and stuff. You know what I mean? And like I said, I don't dislike, some of the other things that sisters do with their hair, but to me, y'all just look better naturally the way that y'all are. That's what I tell my daughter all the time. You know what I'm saying? My daughter has natural big curls, and I love when her hair is just in like a curly afro. You know what I'm saying? But she likes to straighten it. She don't put no chemicals in
Mhm.
her hair, but I guess she just finds it easier sometimes to straighten it. But the older that she gets, she's starting to learn more about, her hair and just how to maintain her hair and do the protective styles and different things like that. And so, I think she's starting to embrace it more herself. You know what I mean? I've always stressed it to her, like, yo, your hair's fly just like it is. But, she is getting to the point where she wants to experiment. She wants to cut it. She wants to color it and do different things. And I'm like, just chill. But, I got to let her try different things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She'll come back.
Yeah.
She'll always come back to it'll come back because we came back. We came back to our natural state.
Yeah. Never going back.
Never going back. Yeah, I'm not chemically relaxed or anything. I just put some air control right here. If I pull it up, it's a fro right now.
Yeah.
Like I just pulled it back and put a hairband on so y'all don't see it pop up.
It's all good. It's all good.
My little baby curls right here.
It's cute. Did you put edge
Yeah.
control on that? On the baby curls?
Gel, and I just use finger coil mine all through. Yeah, if I wear it curly, I finger coil it.
Okay. I can never get my edges to like stay straight.
Okay, Jackson dropping some heavy science up in here. 4C hair is like supersized DNA, Alexis.
Yeah, I think as I'm getting older, I think I was 4C. I think I'm between in certain spots, like in the middle, I'm definitely 4C. And then on the sides, I think I'm like 4B. Like I feel like I have two textures of hair.
Yeah. And I feel like, so with the hair typing system, it's not something that I subscribe to anymore. Like when I first went natural in 2010, I did just because I didn't know anything else. But I feel like it's more about, first of all, I don't like the hair typing system just because the creator of the hair typing system, I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he just seems very colorist to me.
Interesting.
Yeah, he was Oprah's hairstylist, and he made a comparison to type 4 hair needed to be straightened in order for it to look pretty. And the fact that the kinkiest grades of hair is like on the end of the spectrum is something that I don't like. But when it comes to, I guess, finding hair products that's for your hair, to me, it's about the hair porosity and like how well your hair soaks up water. So and that's been helpful for me. But I feel like as you grow older and like different things that you might go through, like the texture of your hair might change.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I gotta look that dude up.
I can't think of his name. But he was Oprah's or still is Oprah's hairstylist. He created the hair typing system. But yeah, he made that comment. Just do it like Google, but he made that comment. And I feel like it's just another way for Black women to be separated by different textures.
Right. He can go to hell.
Right. Now, honestly, I feel like the thicker or kinkier. I feel like the curls be way more bomb. Even if you straighten it, I feel like it's full, and I don't know. I like the thickness. I like the kinkier the better for me.
Yeah.
And there's so much things you could do with it, right? Like girls be surprising you. Like they be, just having like the little twist in their hair, whatever. And then when they pull it out, you be like, damn, you got all that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even the length, like it's like for me, I have a fro like this, and then if you stretch it, or if I straighten it and your hair is sitting here, you're like, where all that come from? You got a weave? No, I just straighten it.
Yeah. That's part of the what was the other comment that the person left? The DNA, how you stretch out.
Yeah.
So in a sense, our hair does represent DNA.
Yeah, those DNA strands, those coils, and like you said, you know what I'm saying. You're sending and receiving messages from the universe, and that's what DNA is, right?
Yeah.
Messengers.
Yep. But like going back to, I guess, the comment that they left earlier about like the spirituality and natural hair, part of me on that journey, like, learning about my natural hair was learning about my melanin. And I was like, oh, okay, this is deep. Like
I'm
it's
popping. I'm popping.
yeah, like it's so much deeper than just natural hair.
It is.
So yeah, very spiritual.
Yep.
All right, nicely, girl. It's about that time.
All right. So, one more question
Okay.
before
All
we
right, go
wrap
ahead.
everything out. What does freedom mean to you?
Ooh. Freedom means doing the things that I want to do, not necessarily from, I guess, a superficial standpoint, but just doing things, throughout my everyday life without the fear of having someone or something to try to stop me or interfere with me from doing that. So even like a simple car ride home, um, being able to know that I will get there to my destination safe without having, a police to stop me or try to harass me. Like to me, that's freedom. Knowing that I can consume whatever, I want to consume without the fear of some government agency tampering with my food.
Mm,
Knowing that
damn.
I can collect water without it being illegal. To me, that's freedom.
Mm.
Yeah. Knowing that I can educate my own without having some agency interfere with that, even when it comes to birthing your own children. A lot of times our babies are being snatched away from us. But knowing that you can do those things without having someone or something or some agency interfere with that, to me, that's freedom.
Love it.
Our ancestors birthed babies, you know, on their
Yeah.
own. You know what I'm saying? These were not trained doctors, right? And not only did they help bring our ancestors into the world, they also brought masses children in and nursed them too.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
So yeah.
Yeah.
right. Y'all are the mothers. Y'all are the mothers of it all. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
We all came from y'all. So I trust that y'all know what y'all doing.
Yeah.
And honestly, we already have that information, especially when it comes to birthing your own children. We just have to tap into that
Okay.
source.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But we have all the information that we need.
yeah. It's a
Yeah.
code. It's
Yeah.
coded. It's coded.
Even when it comes to gardening and like doing all this other stuff, like we have the information.
Mhm.
I love
And
this
just do it.
conversation.
Thank
We
This is
just
you.
gotta
definitely
do
this is
This has
definitely
been
a
very thorough. Like I love this conversation.
it.
me too. Me too. This was good. This was good. I
As
feel
well.
better after this here interview. You know what I mean?
Yay.
And so this is the part where I got to put you on the spot,
Uh-oh.
young lady.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness. Okay.
yeah. So you have the microphone. The entire Black community can hear what it is that you have to say.
Okay.
What parting words would you like to leave us all with tonight before we get out of here?
Okay. I would like to say, no matter what you do, just be your true and unapologetic self. Even if it means that you're making less money or maybe you feel like you don't have the resources, it will always come to you. You will attract that energy that you need. But don't be afraid to be your unapologetic self, no matter what other people might think of it. As long as you believe in yourself, and honestly, that all that matters.
Mm, mm.
Hey.
Good one. Good one. A lot of people need to hear that.
Yeah.
That's definitely a good one. A lot of people
Absolutely.
need to hear that because people feel like they have to conform or fit into a certain box in order to achieve their perception of success.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But what you just said is very important, man. You know, being your authentic self and using your natural gifts to impact other people. And I believe that the income will come. You don't have to
Mhm.
chase the bag. You know what I'm saying? Chase the God within. You know what I'm saying? And the bag gonna come along with that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Exactly.
So thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right, family. Make sure y'all hit the like. Make sure y'all share this out. Make sure that you are subscribed to this channel and click the notification bell so you can be reminded whenever we go live with new content. We do this each and every Wednesday and Thursday on the Black Business Showcase. And I know one of these days we're not going to be here. I'm not sure.
The 27th. I believe it's the 27th. You have something.
Okay. But
It's the 27th.
either way, make sure you guys are following us. I'm at Sincere Love to God on all social media platforms. And my co-host, you can follow her at Nicely Girl with the #1 on Instagram and without the #1 on all other platforms. And that's the best way for you to keep up with whatever we got going on and stay up to date when we will be going live with new episodes of the Godcast. And where can people find you and support you at, Miss Coco
So
Bates?
on Instagram, it's at Coco Bates _. That's the main one that I use. I have a TikTok, but I don't really post consistently. But it's underscore. It's just the opposite of what my Instagram is. So it's underscore Coco Bates. My blog, blossomandsoul.com. You can follow the festival. It's at Blossom and Soul Fest. But everything is linked on my main Instagram page, which is at Coco Bates _.
Right.
Make
So
sure you guys follow.
Yep. Anybody that's interested in vending at the event and things of that nature, make sure y'all hit her up. Coming up in March. It's gonna be fly.
Right.
And so, family, that does it for today's episode of the Black Business Showcase on Sincere Love the Godcast. Appreciate y'all joining us. Appreciate y'all engaging with us. If you're watching this on the replay, again, make sure you are subscribed to the channel and all of that good stuff as well. But we'll see y'all next week. Sunday, I ain't even let you know, but I'll talk to you behind the scenes on that one.
That's right.
But yeah, like I always say, like I always have to remind the family, we are not the master teachers. We are only the master students and signal boosters for the voices of the new Black media.
All right. And first, before we part, I want to again thank you so much for coming on tonight, letting us all in your Black business. We really appreciate you. Love your page. Love everything that you're doing. And make sure you guys, again, tap in. You all know the schedule. For those that don't, we're here on Wednesdays and Thursdays, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And on Sundays, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on YouTube. Sincere Love the God. And thank you guys for tuning in tonight.
Peace.
Peace.
Do for self or suffer the consequences. The